Good afternoon, everyone. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful morning out here in the Pacific Northwest. It is 2:04 a.m. and we are going to be digging in real quick to the Final Fantasy X patch news that came out last night. All right, lots of info to go over, lots of things to touch base on. Let's go ahead and talk, of course, first about the challenge missions that came out. We are going to have the generic Final Fantasy X challenge missions. Make sure you do that. You are going to be getting Brotherhood from that. We also have Titus, Yuna, and Bahamut challenge missions as well. We also have an EX job release challenge mission. Now, this is going to drop, of course, the Blossoms of Paradise, which are really important items. Just make sure you're checking all of these off. We have an Esper 3-star Awakening release challenge celebration. Now, I did actually try, in preparation for this video, one of the Esper missions for 3-starring them, and they're actually a little bit difficult. So particularly the one with Behemoth that I did, where Behemoth were using their instant death techniques, may not be something you can auto unless you set up a composition that is going to counter it very easily. There's also, of course, still the Clairvoyant Astrologer, and we do still have the Brave Exvius missions as well. So make sure you hop in and do all of those right now. Make sure you change your Chocobo Expedition. So Chocobo Expedition is Zanarkand Ruins. Make sure you switch to that for both Titus and Yuna shards, and then eventually I believe we will be getting Oron shards from them as well. I procced a fever and then I ran some high-speed expeditions to kind of see where it fell in terms of how good it was, and honestly, the shards weren't that great. Granted, we have 41 days. I would say you can probably expect maybe 50 shards, maybe 60 shards of each respective unit from this if you do keep it on here. Now, let's talk about the guild updates, and then we will jump into the summons and the shop. So probably the biggest update to the guilds that everybody kind of wants to know about, right? You kind of all know about the shard quest, but we don't really know about the guild quest. So let's go ahead and pull it up here. Basically, the guild quests can be completed once per day. They give you a certain amount of buffs, right? And we can, as we level up the statue, unlock more buffs. You can see here that you can level up the statue. So I did guild quest number 1. It gave me like food. It gave me stuff to enhance my units. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Just make sure everybody in your guild is doing it. You can see it has a list of unlocked effects, for example, for all guild members. This is not the statue, but this is all of them. Popping back out here, we do of course have the changes to the unit shards. Now, you do have to have food in the barracks for this, and the barracks has been expanded. So at the point that I'm at right now, it takes 500 Visior to expand it every single time. So you do, if you're like me, if you whale in this game a lot, it is worth it just to expand it to that 95,000. You can see that it's at max here. The reason you'll want to do this, as you'll see here in just a second when I max it out, is that it will get you about 24 hours worth of time. So you're not going to have to worry about this. Your shards will accumulate. You can see that they accumulate at a pretty decent rate, right? So for Evie, he's going to get 1 shard every 12 hours. Lower rarity units will get shards at lower rarity rates, or more shards at lower rarity rates, and so on and so forth. Pretty straightforward. Interesting that Gilgamesh has the same rate as regular UR units. I was not expecting that, and we'll actually get into some of the double cost shenanigans that seem to be going on right now with the anniversary event as well. Let's go ahead and talk about the summons that have come out, though. There are a lot of summons, and people are wondering what they should pull on. Candidly, I think probably the best option to pull on is going to be the Yuna 9-step 10. And then if you don't get Yuna on this, pull on the 6k step up guaranteed. There are some other things like the Behemoth or Bahamut summon, right? This is kind of like the only Bahamut banner. So if you're pulling on Bahamut, go ahead and do that. Remember, any duplicates that you get are going to turn into Mind Spheres. So you don't have to worry too much because you are going to be accumulating Mind Spheres as you go. You may want to consider also doing one of these 100 UR unit shards guaranteed 10 times summon tickets, because you are going to be getting those Mind Spheres if you already have those units maxed out. There are also the release or the re-release of the Exorcist VC and the holiday party VC, which I think is really interesting. In some of the data mines, there was also Christmas units that were revealed a little bit. We don't know if that means Christmas units are going to be coming, but if you did miss these VCs, there's a great opportunity to get them. Personally, I would recommend the Exorcist VC. I think it's fantastic. Stay away from the EX job banners. They're kind of traps, I feel like. You do get 40 mind spheres for a featured unit guaranteed, but I'm like, oh, I don't know. I would stay away from this. I don't trust this banner. It feels too trappy to me. So just leave it at that. The video summon's got to change. The 10 times summon, basically, you watch a video and then it can actually give you like unit shards and such. Some people were upset because they thought the unit shards were not transitioning to mind spheres. What actually happens is when you watch the video, it is sent to your present box. So if you're going to get a mind sphere, it will actually be as a mind sphere in your present box. So make sure you pay attention to that. I did also do all of my ticket polls, and in every single one of my ticket polls from previous, those unit shards were transitioned into mind spheres, so we had no problems there. Now, of course, there is some arena bonuses and some free battle bonuses going on right now. Let's hop into the far plane and we'll talk about some of the differences here before we go ahead and talk about shop specific things, since I feel like shop specific things are kind of like towards the end. We do, of course, have the Sprouts of Devouring Episode 3. Make sure you do this. There's a Rainbow Fragment reward in there. Secret Book rewards are guaranteed 2 times drop, so that's going to be pretty important. Now, let's talk about some changes to the Alchrist chambers. So, basically, you have this additional chamber now, which is, of course, very similar to the Red Training Room, where it is going to be double drops on Saturdays, and it is going to drop some, stones, and it's going to be very similar, right? Important notes on this, though, if you guys have watched my EX video, is that you can actually get limited time drops from these, and these are every 7 days. So if you come here, you can see at the bottom of the loot pool that they do have the Blossom of Paradise, and they do actually have some Nameless Heroes memories, which I think is great. You can see here that the Blossom of Paradise resets every 7 days, so you can get 1 Blossom of Paradise every 7 days from all 3 of these missions. So make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're farming these Blossoms of Paradise, because it's a really good way to get a bottleneck material for EX units. Another thing to look at is we do have Alchrist tier 6 missions as well right now. And if you come down here, you can see that there is also a Blossom for the Alchrist chambers. So the distribution limit is going to be 7 days. So once a week, you need to make sure you're coming into the Alchrist chambers, you're going into the red farm, you're busting it out to kind of do those. Now, let's go ahead and just while I'm here, while it's on my mind, let's actually just double check and see that there's no blossoms in here. Okay, so they did not add any ninja blossoms while nobody was looking. Oh, sorry, we need to go back to Farplane because they did update the key quests. If you scroll all the way down, we do have Magicites unlocked behind the key quests right now as well. The key quests are basically interesting. So this is interesting. So they said they added the Magicite key quest, and it's going to be basically run like 3 times. And it looks like we're actually going to need a Magicite key, because I do have keys for regular key quest and JP quest, right? So I'm wondering if we're going to get Magicite keys here in the near future. I haven't actually seen any. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but keep that in mind. I talked about the 3-star Esper missions earlier as well. You can see here that like Ifrit has a 3-star Esper mission, and then we do have, of course, Behemoths, and they're actually really, I just did Behemoths, right? And Behemoths do have instant kill. I just threw in like my regular farming team and they got obliterated. So think about it. Maybe take in a composition that is element specific with some elemental resistances with our new VC buffs. Let's talk about the shop, because we have some really good deals in here, and I think everybody's going to be excited for it. We do have the first anniversary shop, which of course grabbed the EXP cube. We do have a select unit pack for paid Visior 1500, so there's also that. Other than that, most of the stuff in here is pretty standard, not too interesting. We have a 365 Visior paid Visior pack per day, along with a Gil pack. I definitely think this is worth it. It was 365 paid Viz for 40 UR unit shards. Really good. And then 65 XL Magicite, along with Earth Awakening Prisms and Earth Fragments of Thought. I mean, this is just a deal, right? Like, you have to be, like, if you're looking and thinking in terms of what's a good deal to get, these are definitely good deals. We do have the One Visior shop as well. So you can see the One Visior shop has amazing stuff in it. Rainbow Fragments, Nameless Heroes. It is paid Viz, so there is that to keep in mind. And one of these is refreshing daily. I do believe it's the 365 paid Visior shop, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we do have the Bahamut and the Stern Oldoa banners as well. Let's hop over into the Mog shop and we'll take a look in there. Interestingly enough, no Final Fantasy X unit shards in the exchange shop, which is kind of a bummer because it really limits the amount of ways that we can get Final Fantasy X unit shards, to the point where it looks like, right, that we're getting the same amount of shards that JP got almost, which means that we're probably pretty, we're going to be spending a lot of Visior maxing out these units. We do have the summon medals for Yuna, if you do polls on them and such. The anniversary medals are really interesting because you can purchase them at regular price, but you'll notice that units like Gilgamesh only take one, Ruin Stern only takes one, so they're essentially half price here. A little bit weird, something to think about. Also, when we get to the vision cards, you'll notice that Dragon King Bahamut is also half off. So a little weird, a little inconsistent. I'm not really sure, like, maybe this is going to get changed. Maybe something is going to happen. I don't know. But if you are looking at maxing out Bahamut, make sure you buy these tokens. There's also a shop in the special shop, which we'll talk about in a minute, that does do this as well. Time to exchange your Exvius medals if you do have them. So you can come in here and, for example, exchange your 10,000 for Sakura, and then it'll give you your Sakura Mind Spheres here. So come in, do that. If you've been saving your global festival medals like I have, you can choose what units you want to exchange it on. So I will be doing that later today. We will be streaming 5 p.m. by the way for our Final Fantasy X polls. Other than that, let's talk about the special shop. Let's also talk about the unit of choice, because the unit of choice was supposed to be delivered in our present box. It's probably going to be delivered by the morning, but the new player bonus was like, it was worded that it was going to all the players, but then nobody got it. So supposedly there's Visior coming our way and a unit of choice. I'm assuming by the time you get this, there'll probably be a notice about it because it's a pretty big deal. Another question people had, and I had in particular, about our presents was the 6K paid, or sorry, the 6K free Visior from the dartboard game that Hiroki was doing. And my confusion was that that was actually a reward from for the Exvius Universe event, which will be distributed on March 31st, is what I was told by my chat. So keep that in mind, because it's also pretty important. Coming up to this bar, just kind of to go over some paid options that have come out. We do have the first anniversary 30-day value pack, which is going to be amazing. You should always buy this. We do have the premium pass, and of course we have the double viz. Don't buy your double viz from here though. Come to the shop, and then you're going to want to go to the special shop. Personally, I would recommend buying the hard quest pass right now, or the combined pass, because we do have double shard drops in hard quest, so it's going to be really good to farm 20 of those per day. You can see we got all the Visior deals right now, all the Visior half off. We have this amazing special starter pack, which is for only $8, and it just gives a shit ton of stuff. Like, it's ridiculous. I would probably stay away from this pack, which gives awakening materials. I don't think awakening materials are worth the viz. Probably the most important pack though is the 6,000 viz and the 200 anniversary medals. I think everybody should pick this up. Absolutely incredible. Other than that, just kind of be aware, right? Like, take a look at this one. 5,000 paid viz for $36.99 is good, but you also get 9 rainbow fragments and 19 vision spheres. Awesome. Common sense, right? Common sense approach. Anytime you see 5,000 viz for $36.99 plus extras, it's always going to be a good deal. So yeah, other than that, everybody, I feel like that's pretty much all I have to say. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments down below. I'm sure someone will answer them while I am sleeping. For those of you out there that are Reddit savvy and have all the info, please respond and keep people up to date. If you do want to support me, please use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins. You can also go to dig.gs/offer as well. Make sure you come join me for my Final Fantasy X polls, which I will be doing at 5 p.m. tomorrow, or I guess today, Wednesday. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you later.